At this time, I'd like to call the August 1st, 2017 regular scheduled meeting of the Davie County Board of Education to order and welcome everyone here. And first up, we have the invocation. Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion, allow us to grow closer as a group, and nurture the bonds of community. Fill us with your grace as we make decisions that will affect our great county, and continue to remind us that all that we do here today, all that we accomplish, is for the pursuit of truth, for the greater glory of you, and for the service of humanity. We ask these things in your name. Amen. Next up, we will have the pledge, and we have some members of our local Boy Scout troop here today to lead us in the pledge.
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, guys. We're glad to have you, and thanks for coming and sharing the pledge with us. At this time, we are moving on to the adoption of our agenda, and we actually do not have anything for closed session other than approval of minutes from our last closed session meeting. So I think I'll call for a motion to amend the agenda just to conserve some time today, and we'll deal with those minutes at the next month's meeting. So I need a motion to amend the agenda first to remove closed session. So we have a motion by Mr. Hales. We have a second by Mr. Drexler. All in favor? Motion carries 5-0. At this time, I would like to ask for a motion to adopt the agenda as amended. We have a motion by Mr. Drexler. We have a second by Mr. Hales. All in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, folks. At this time, we're moving on to approval of minutes from our last regular meeting of July the 11th, and I will ask for a motion to approve those minutes. We have a motion by Ms. Horn. Do we have a second? We have a second by Mr. Drexler. All in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Moving on to important dates, and I've got a few dates here I'm going to point out for everyone. We have the first day of classes for the early college on Tuesday the 8th, big day for everyone. On the 10th, from 3 to 5, we're having tours at the new high school for all of the Davie County Schools employees and their families. Love to see everyone come out for that. On the 17th, we're having tours for everyone, public tours for everyone. The tours start at 3:30 on the 17th. We're going to have a ribbon cutting at 4:30 on the 17th, and then we'll continue to have tours up until 6 o'clock on the evening of the 17th. Love to see everyone out for that. On the, let's see, let me move on here. And then on the 25th, we're actually having, at 8:30, we're having convocation for everyone, all the employees at the high school in the gym. And then on the 28th, we have the first day of school for everyone other than the early college, big day for everyone. Our next regular meeting will be here starting at 6. We'll go back to our 6 o'clock meeting start on the 12th, Tuesday the 12th of September. And that's all I have. Yes, sir.
Someone asked me to clarify, is the meeting on the 25th, is it 8 o'clock or is it 8:30?
The convocation? Mm-hmm. Our agenda says 8:30.
There's several teachers that were in a huddle together and they thought it was at 8. But you're 8:30. Okay.
Okay. Oh, yes, sir. Okay, I don't have any other dates, so I'm gonna hand it off to Dr. Hartness for his superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, everyone. Before I give my report, I'd like to turn it over to Mr. Wallace for a very special recognition that is purposely not on our agenda.
So my surveillance plan is busted. Christy, just bring your family, and y'all come right up here, if you don't mind, please. Brian Jacobs, if you would you come stand? I don't get to tell the officer what to do. Stand right here, Brian. Not often do you lie to a cop either, so I didn't feel good doing it. I've kind of squirreled my way around, I want you to know, and it's been, he's pretty smart, and we've been together for a long time, so he knows. So thanks for, well, let me just tell you why we're here. First of all, it's my honor and pleasure, extreme honor, to this afternoon, to recognize Lieutenant Brian Jacobs with the Davie County Sheriff's Department. Brian has been in law enforcement since 1999. And he graduated from Davie County High School in 1996, graduated from law enforcement, BLET, in 1999, and that's when he started with Davie County Sheriff's Office. He spent some time between 2003 and 2007 in Lexington, where he worked in patrol, and then later worked as a detective. During his time there, he was recognized and honored as an officer. Brian returned to Davie County in 2007. There we go. 2007. I'm trying to go from memory here. Brian returned in 2007, where he became the lead SRO for Davie County Schools. I came and started working in Davie County in 2008. So obviously I was trying to feel my way around, and he was trying to feel me out and learn who each other was. And I will tell you that I've been 24, 25 years now, and all but 2 of those have been in high school. And I've never worked with a finer SRO. Now, I'm not talking about just an officer. I'm talking about I've never been with a finer SRO. And you've heard Dr. Hartnett say many times how blessed we are, and a lot of that starts with, as you see, Sheriff Hartman's here, and I want to thank him and the relationship we have, but because of, you have something to do with him, and we know that, and Jeff Jones, who's behind us, so we appreciate that very much. Brian is with us tonight, with his beautiful wife, Christy, who helped me get all this together. I've been calling you wife, Brian. That's not smart either, but you check her phone records, you'll see she and I have been talking. So we'll just admit it right now. Yeah, good timing, Jill. Brian and Christy have a beautiful daughter named Grace right here. She is 12 years old and will be a rising 7th grader at South Davie, right? All right. And Bethany, show that pretty little smile. Bethany is 8 years old, will be a 3rd grader at Moxville Elementary, right? Brian is also joined tonight by his parents, Mike and Shirley Jacobs, and it's Mike's in a battle. He had a round of chemotherapy yesterday, and he's here tonight. My wife grew up around them, and will tell you that's 2 of the finest people she's ever been around. And we didn't know if Mike could be here today until about 1 o'clock, and Christy called me and said, Mike's having a good day. Mike, thank you. He's also here with Christy's parents, his in-laws, Jerry and Phyllis True. Garrett, I'm sorry. Sorry. I made one mistake there. Sorry about that. But we're glad you're here. Absolutely. But we're glad all of you are here with us tonight. And again, when you work in a high school, you deal with everything. And Brian and I stood, and Jeff, but Brian and I have stood side by side on many things. And we kind of knew each other when there was a line there. And there's a story about Brian when he was working in Lexington. And Brian got into a really difficult situation by himself. And Brian, instead of tasing or shooting, Brian got roughed up pretty good, beat up pretty good in a neighborhood. But he made that choice. And after that point, he was able to go back to that neighborhood and earned a lot of respect and built some relationships with people that probably not too many people build relationships with. I've watched Brian only on 2 occasions since 2008 that I recall. He wants people to work with him. He's very smart. He knows how to work people. But when he tells you, I'm almost done. And when he's done, he's done. And he's told him, he said, you're going down. And they didn't believe him. Well, they went down. I promise you. Like I said, I've only seen that happen twice. But if he needs to cross the line, he can. But what I want to make sure you clearly hear me say, again, since 2008 and obviously many years in law enforcement, he's gotten to that line very often, but doesn't cross that line unless he absolutely has to. My point is he understands people. He understands that he's dealing with children and not criminals. He also understands when he's dealing with criminals, and they're not children, if you will. But Brian, I want to say to you that you've served as our lead SRO officer for Davie County the schools since 2007. He's recently, we fought, the sheriff's been talking to us about this for a while. And Dr. Hartness and I both wanted him to stay with us as long as we could, obviously not preventing him from a promotion. But Brian will no longer actually be in our schools as much, serving as SRO, but he is out doing some other things. Again, he is in charge of some other folks. And but Brian, we want to take just a moment to say thank you and how much we appreciate you and your family, all of your family. And Sheriff, again, thank you for organizing, but it's an honor. So please accept this on behalf of Davie County Schools. It says Brian Jacobs in recognition for outstanding service and dedication for 10 years as the lead school resource officer for Davie County Schools, Davie County Board of Education, 2017. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Mr. Chairman, if I may say something as well. Brian, congratulations. We are honored to honor you tonight and for your service. I got to know Brian's mother, Shirley, many years ago when I served on the town board in Coolamy, and she worked for the town of Coolamy at that time. And to know that this is such a wonderful family, and I know that they are so proud of their son. I think, Brian, you were in high school back then, so he's grown up to be a fine, fine man and a school resource officer that knows how to balance his responsibilities. He's compassionate when he needs to be. He's firm when he needs to be. He's just an overall great decision maker. And I think that goes to what Mr. Wallace said. That's leadership that's modeled from the top. So, Sheriff, we thank you for that leadership. And Jeff Jones, we thank you for the partnership as well. Jeff's going to continue to serve in our school district as our SRO. And we look forward to a long, healthy partnership with the Davie County Sheriff's Office, and congratulations, Mr. Jacobs. We appreciate you.
I would echo on behalf of the board, Brian, thank you for everything you've done for Davie County and everything you do on a daily basis and for Davie County Schools. We have a wonderful partnership with the Sheriff's Department, and that means a lot. I know it means a lot to the folks of Davie County. It certainly means a lot to Davie County Schools. At this time, we're going to move on to yes, right, we're moving on back to your report.
All right, so we'll get back in sequence here. I asked myself as I was writing a few notes for tonight, where is the summer gone? Today is August the 1st. But I reflected about this past weekend, we had a couple cool mornings, and it made me just anticipate those October days even more. I'm a little worn out with the summer heat, but I know we're all looking forward to a nice fall. Early college teachers are back tomorrow, and August 8th is their first day for students, so the summer is almost complete for our early college students. Board, I want to share with you that last week we wrapped up our annual 2-day administrative retreat, and we held that again here in Mocksville, and this time we had our administrative retreat out at the Triple J Manor House. Mr. Junker dropped by to see us, not too far from where he works there. But it's a beautiful facility, and we had an extremely good time for a day and a half out there. And just a few things that we accomplished during our retreat. You have a copy of a book at your desk, The 5 Languages of Appreciation in the Workplace, by Dr. Gary Chapman. Dr. Chapman is Associate Pastor at Calvary Baptist in Winston-Salem, is an international best-selling author of The 5 Love Languages. Many of us have read in our personal relationships and marriages, and he wrote this book. And as I read this book a couple years ago, I felt like it would fit really well into what we're trying to do as an organization and create a quality experience. And it would help our administrators and our staff to understand what languages of appreciations are within our employee workplace. So Dr. Chapman came and shared his advice with us and shared the advice he wrote in this book with us and spent some time with our administrators and got to know some of us, and he even asked if he could go with us the following day to tour our new school. So he came back to Mocksville on Wednesday and toured the new high school with us. We had a good time spending time with Dr. Gary Chapman. We appreciate him taking time out of his very busy schedule to come and share with our administrators. During our retreat, we also heard from our School Administrators Association leadership in Raleigh. Former State Representative Brian Holloway came and shared with us as well his perspective from the things going on in Raleigh. Our own illustrious attorney, Jill Wilson, gave us a legal update and great advice from a legal perspective. We had 2 principals from Iredell County come and talk about innovations at their schools and the way that they are increasing communications with their community and with parents. The Dragonfly House leadership came and shared with our administrators trauma-informed school training on how we can best support students who have experienced trauma in their lives. And Aaron Full, our accountability director, shared a deep dive into our accountability data to talk about where we are academically as a district and where we need to go next. So it was a great couple days together with our administrative staff. We ended the day on Wednesday with touring the new high school, and some of them had not been in the new facility, so they got to take a look at that. But it was a good time together, so I just wanted to share that with you. Other things going on. We're quickly wrapping up the new high school, final cleaning and punch list items. Mr. Moorefield's going to talk about some of that tonight, but I want to again thank Jim. We recognized him last month for all of his hard work. We would not be where we are right now and on time and on budget without Jim Moorefield. Our football team loaded up their equipment on Saturday morning and arrived at the new high school and put their equipment in their new lockers, and they're practicing at the school campus now. We have a number of events coming up at the new school. Mr. Fuller has already shared with those. They're in your important dates, and as well as the times for open house for students and orientation for students is listed there as well. The first of our 6 home football games will be Friday night, August the 18th, at the new War Eagle Stadium. So we're real excited about that. We've had a number of people ask about brick pavers. We sold brick pavers early on during the project, and the blank filler brick that go beside those engraved pavers will be arriving next week, and the brick pavers will be installed sometime after next week in the area adjacent to the flagpoles. We sold several hundred of those engraved brick, and we're going to be opening that brick sale back up during the employee tours and community tours. And for the next month or 2, the high school will be using that as a fundraiser again. And once those bricks are sold, we'll order those. When they come in, the filler bricks, some of those will be replaced with the ones that are purchased. So watch for that on our website coming soon. The contractor for the demolition of the oldest buildings on the campus of the current Davie County High School, or the old, now we'll call it the old Davie County High School, will begin in mid-September. That contractor has been secured as we approved that last board meeting. And we've had some people ask about purchasing brick from the old campus. So that will be a possibility as well. Not a possibility, it will be an opportunity as well, and we'll be advertising that later in the fall. There is a provision in the state budget that will allow Davie County Schools to apply for a reimbursement of some of the funds used for road improvements adjacent to our new high school. The general contractor's contract, New Atlantic's contract, include the cost of widening Farmington Road and adding the turning lanes and the road improvements there in front of the school that you see. I want to thank Representative Julia Howard and Senator Brock for getting the date when new schools open that would be eligible for this reimbursement moved back to August 1st, 2017. That's going to allow us to apply for this reimbursement. And I want to thank both of them for working with us toward the end of the session to get a technical correction in the budget to allow that. I shared with Representative Howard and Senator Brock that we have a number of people in the community that are interested in supporting a field house at the new stadium. As you know, that's one of the items that we had to remove at the beginning of the project due to costs. And we have some people interested in building that field house, and that these road improvement reimbursements would go a long way toward making that field house a reality. So I want to thank both of them for their efforts to make that access to the highway funds possible for our district. So we'll work with that process and through the state through that process later this fall, and we'll let you know how that goes. I shared a draft concept of a field house with you as board members via email this past week. And just wanted to let you know that we have met with our athletic staff and athletic director and some of our coaching staff. They have gone to visit field houses at other school sites, found things that they liked and didn't like. And Wesley Curtis, our architect, has incorporated their ideas into a draft concept. So we'll be working through that draft concept and finalizing that, or getting something we can bring to you more formally, as well as a cost estimate in the near future. So just want to let you know that that process is underway. I'm real pleased with the input and feedback we've gotten from our coaching staff on that. Going back to roads, I've had a number of people ask questions about road construction in the area of the high school. And the first I want to make sure is that people understand the maintenance on Interstate 40 has nothing to do with our new high school. That is routine maintenance by the Department of Transportation. The good news is I talked to DOT this afternoon, and that is on schedule to be completed by August the 15th. So we should see the entrance and exit ramps at Farmington Road opening back up here in the next week or so. The same contractor that is doing the road construction on Interstate 40 is scheduled to begin paving on Farmington Road between Puddin Ridge Road and 158 beginning next Monday, August the 7th. And that should be completed within a week to 10 days. So what it looks like is all the road construction will be finished by the time we open school, and everything will have a fresh coat on top. And we'll look forward to opening school on some new roads. There's a lot to be done in the next couple of weeks. Everybody is working really hard day and night to make sure that we have an excellent opening to school, not only at the new high school, but in all of our schools. And I want to thank all of our staff for the many, many hours that they have worked this summer. This has been a really fast and furious summer. So we look forward to a strong opening on the 28th. And as you have heard me say many times over the past 6 years, there are great days ahead. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you for the update. Hopefully that,
Mr. Chair, I got a question if I can, probably
Yes,
to
sir.
Dr. Harkness. With regard to the cost that we initially had for the widening of the road as you enter the new Davie High School, and realizing the possible grant that we could apply and receive, will that be sufficient funds to take care of any obligation that we might have had toward that, and also provide enough for some absorption of that with the field house?
So the road improvements reimbursement would be equal to what we spent on the road improvements. So it would be a reimbursement of costs that have already been incurred. And we're looking at somewhere north of $300,000, but not enough to do the field house, but would really get us a good start in making that a reality.
And back to your comment that it's already the 1st of August, that's because, and winter's almost upon us, that's because the staff have been so busy this summer. Time flies.
That's for sure. Yeah, hopefully those, that repaving on, Farmington Road will wrap up in time and on schedule, and I'm sure that DOT's assured you of that as well.
They have assured me that there will be no interruption to our school schedule. And the contractor scheduled again to finish Farmington Road in a week to 10 days.
Good. That sounds good. At this time, we're moving on to our construction project update, and Mr. Moorefield's gonna come give us an update, and maybe the last one. I told him earlier that we'd love to have him continue to come to the meetings, but
I asked him to turn in the keys. He said, I've never had any.
Since DOT's scheduled to start paving Farmington Road, we know when the rain's gonna start. I don't have much to say. The only thing that I think that's important at this time, I'm sure all of y'all have been there. I can't imagine anybody not going by the Highskill recently, because it's a spectacular sight as you drive down Farmington Road. But anyway, I think the things that we need to talk, or need to express tonight, is the fact that the GC is on schedule to have everything ready for the August the 10th tour that you have scheduled for your staff and families. We expect to have the final CO from the inspections department prior to that event. Next Monday, we're hoping to pass our health inspection for the kitchen and those areas, which is a real milestone if we can pull that off. Although the kids would probably love to have Papa John's and a chicken sandwich from somebody, but anyway. The other thing that, I think the big thing that still is looking at us in the face is that football game on the 18th. And I know that everyone's excited about that. We've made some changes in the field preparation, and that has proved very successful. Everything is coming together at the concession and restrooms, one of the last areas that we had given our attention to. And our goal is to have the concession stand ready for the Booster Club to seek a health inspection. So before, the weekend before the 18th. So that should not be a problem. And we know the Booster Club, most of those people have jobs during the day, so we're working diligently to give them plenty of time to schedule that health inspection. And the other thing is the open house ribbon cutting, and I think at the time that we get to that point in the schedule, we will be, everything will be behind us. We will be ready for school. As stated earlier, the football team is there. Staff has been there for almost a month and really haven't heard any real complaints about day-to-day operations. They have gotten along really well with what few construction guys are still on site. So unless you have some questions, I don't know much else to say except it's over. You guys got a new high school.
we have any question for Mr. Moorefield? All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, but I really didn't do anything.
Well, I beg to differ. We appreciate everything you've done, and making sure that all of it happened on time and that we've gotten our money's worth and gotten a quality job, and we do, and we have. I can assure you of that. Been out many times with Mr. Moorefield, and he has made sure that the contractor was doing their job and doing it properly, and that we have a very quality site and facility, and I appreciate that, and we all do here, I know. But we're thankful that you were around and available to help. We are. We have any other questions, Mr. Moorefield? Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, we're moving on to our consent agenda, and I will ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
We have a motion by Mr. Junker. We have a second by Mr. Drexler. All in favor? Motion carries 5-0. At this time, our first and only business item, I'll ask Mr. Moorefield to get back up and talk to us about a couple, 2, 3 change orders.
There are three change orders that we need to bring to the attention of the school board. Excuse me, my nose seems to be ready to leave. It's running. The first one is, I think you will see in your packet, is change order number 10. And this is miscellaneous changes to masonry, ceilings, rock at light poles, technology reconfiguration in the CTE building, and various other things that came to a total of $97,570. As you're aware, the superintendent has approved change orders previously that do not exceed his authority of $90,000. But as we are reaching the end of this project, we are incurring change orders that exceed that amount for obvious reasons. And if there's any questions about change order number 10, I'll be glad to answer them. It is, I think if you read through the list of things, it's pretty self-explanatory. If not, we'll go over any items that you would like.
Have any questions, Mr. Moorefield, on change order number 10? Let me just ask this, Jim. These particular items have obviously been approved by you guys, staff, and been reviewed, and you and Dr. Hartness. I'm assuming.
Yes, it is correct.
And I would just add, Mr. Chairman, the reason we're bringing these to you is, like change order number 10 is a combination of 10 or 15 individual change orders. It's a summary change order.
Okay.
So as we close this thing
Kinda
out, this is
clean
a
it up.
summary of changes. So none of those would have exceeded the $90,000 that you've authorized me to approve. But since they came in as a bundle, we
Okay.
wanted to put them before the board so that we're following the letter of our policy.
Technicality, okay, thank you for that. So we have any questions about change order number 10? All right, seeing none, I'll ask for a motion to approve change order number 10. So we have a motion by Mr. Hales to approve change order number 10. Do we have a second? Have a second by Mr. Junker. Have any other questions or comments about change order number 10?
Can you state the dollar difference of the effect of those changes, or is that not something to do?
I'm not, well, I can state the total of the change order. You want me to do that? Okay, the total change order is $97,570. Any other questions, comments? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Motion carries 5-0.
Okay. Before I go any further, and in reference to your comment, total change order amount as a percentage of the general contract is around 2%, which in most
Incredible.
worlds is
Yeah.
just absolutely unheard of.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
It's a fantastic goal to be anywhere near 2%.
And just for the record, including these change orders, we're still within our budget.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to talk to us about change order
Change
number 11?
order number 11. And it's a summary of change orders that were approved. There, you'll see there were some credits involved within this change order as we negotiated things within the field with the contractor and the design team. This is primarily for roof steel modifications. I think you'll see one for the LP tank configuration. We had some conflicts in the media center and some other classrooms with light fixtures. And then there was a long triple jump added to the sports field at the stadium. And those change orders in number 11 come to $96,067. And if there's any of them that you would like to discuss.
Any other questions? Okay. I will ask for a motion to approve change order number 11 in the amount of $96,067. Have a motion by Mr. Drexler. Do we have a second? Have a second by Mr. Junker. Do we have any other questions, comments from Mr. Moorefield about change order number 11? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Okay, Mr. Moorefield, talk to us about change order number 12.
Okay, change order number 12 is a summary change order of quite a few smaller change orders that were reviewed and approved during the construction or the latter part of the construction. It basically is lighting changes, some HVAC changes. We also had some sprinkler work that was corrected under the stairwells for safety to avoid accidental damage to some sprinkler heads. We had some casework revisions for electrical. It's a miscellaneous group of change orders.
It also looks like this included the card readers too.
It did.
Yeah. The card readers on the doors, access, exterior doors.
So if any specific questions, we'll address those. And unfortunately, I don't have page 2 in front of me, so I can't tell you what the total is.
This change order total is $144,133. So we have any other questions for Mr. Moorefield on number 12? Okay, seeing none, I'll ask for a motion to approve change order number 12 in the amount of $144,133. We have a motion by Mr. Hales. We have a second by Mr. Drexler. Have any other questions, comments? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Jim.
There's going to be one more that basically it is a change order that is accumulating cost. For example, the GC provided dumpsters for all of the trash that is accumulated from moving in. And there's no way to know what that change order amount is going to be until that process complete. There's others like that out there, but that change order will be very small in comparison to these. But I just want you to know that there's still one more, and that is the closeout change order. That's all these little things that's just accumulating cost.
Okay.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I would just point out that I'm really appreciative and thankful of the way this project has flowed. That 2% mark is incredible for a project this size. Yeah. And I think that goes back to just a couple things. I think it goes back to the quality of our architectural team and the time that they spent with our staff and the time that our staff spent with them, making sure that things were right in the construction drawings and we didn't have a lot of owner requested change orders that were unnecessary through the project. And I think it goes back to Jim just staying on top of and holding the contractor and the subcontractors accountable for what was in the contract. So I could not have asked for a better outcome. to the whole budget. So thank you, Jim. No.
Thank you, Jim. Next up on our agenda is public address to the board, and don't see anything.
There's nothing on there, not a darn thing.
Thank you for that, Ms. Wilson. Now we're moving on to committee and staff reports, and the one item we have is the Golden Leaf Grant Award, and Ms. Haynes and Ms. McNeil are going to talk to us about that.
Come on up here. Good afternoon, Chairman Fuller, board members, Dr. Hartness, and guests. Donna McNeil and I are excited to be with you this afternoon and share some information about a Golden Leaf grant. We've called this grant proposal Innovative Spaces and Instruction, and this is for Davie County High School. And to our knowledge, this is the first Golden Leaf grant that's ever been awarded to Davie County schools. So we are very pleased about that, and we will get it rolling. Right here. There we go. So first of all, I want to provide for you a little bit of background. Usually twice a year, Donna meets with our business advisory, with some of our CTE folks. We also have a STEM Alliance group that we meet with. So as we've talked with our business and community leaders, these folks have continued to identify 2 areas that are really critical to improve as our students are graduating and going into the workforce. These 2 skill areas are technical skills, and I think you know what those are. And the other one is soft skills. And our Golden Leaf folks don't like to call them soft skills because they're not soft, they're hard actually. They're hard to develop. It's communication skills, collaboration skills, students' ability to listen and to present, to work together in teams, to problem solve, to observe, and to be adaptable. Now with that said, let me see if I can find my button here. If we look at the background of Davie County High School, as you know, we have a stellar CTE department. Our CTE program is one of the top in the state. Donna and her team have won many awards and have been recognized and are really strong in developing those technical skills. Several years ago, we opened the STEM Center at Davie High School within the core classes, and the STEM Center, as you know, in the last year has earned state recognition. But they have focused more on developing those soft skills. So the goal, or one of the byproducts of this grant, is that hopefully we can build a stronger bridge between these 2 programs and really capitalize on what each one does well, and develop stronger outcomes for our students in the process. And I'm going to turn over to Donna and let her talk a little bit more about this background.
Back in February, Jenda and I started meeting with some of the teachers at Davie High School. This team of teachers included CTE teachers, STEM teachers, and members of our instructional technology team. As we met, we brainstormed, so a lot of time brainstorming and trying to come up with different ways that we could be innovative and provide some different learning opportunities for our students and provide some integrated learning possibilities for our students. So we began communicating and talking back and forth, and we came up with a list. First of all, a very extensive list of equipment and things that our teachers thought would really enhance student learning. We whittled that list down, and we came up with an amount that fit within the open grant requirements for Golden Leaf, and that was, open grant is in the amount of $200,000. So Jenda and I worked, and we submitted a letter of inquiry to Golden Leaf. That letter of inquiry was approved in April, and again, we were allowed to work and provide more documentation to Golden Leaf and submit our grant opportunity. And that grant was awarded to Davie County Schools in the amount of almost $200,000 back in June. So what have we been doing since June? So the work really began at that point when we started developing and planning the learning spaces and resources and professional development that are the two key components of this grant. So first of all, the learning spaces. So within the learning spaces, there will be some enhancements to our CTE program, starting with a modern greenhouse. This is being constructed, the pad is ready, and Mr. Spillman has been working with contractors to get the floor and foundation of this area ready for us. And this will provide us with a 30 by 60 foot greenhouse. And within that greenhouse space, we will be able to expand and grow an aquaponics program, which is growing without the soil, when growing by utilizing water and some of the different resources to us. So that will be our first piece of first learning space. The second one is in our culinary program. There are 2 kitchen areas in our new school. One will be the traditional kitchens that we use every day for Foods One. The other will be our ProStart or culinary lab. There will be 4 traditional kitchens in that space, but 2 of those kitchens will be equipped with a griddle-top commercial-grade stove. So there will be 2 of those in there, and there will be a 3-door reach-in refrigerator to complement the other culinary phases that have already been installed in that space. The third piece will be a patient simulator that will be used in our health science and medical sciences program. We have been collaborating with DCC for several years on our CNA program, and we're looking to expand those programs to some others that they're getting ready to bring to the Davie campus very soon. So a patient simulator will greatly enhance those programs.
The other learning space that we will be developing at the new Davie County High School facility is a STEM Innovation Lab. There's one science classroom or one science lab that is on the same floor as the Media Center. It's on the 2nd floor that has not been assigned to a specific teacher. So within that lab space, we would like to equip that and allow that to be a space that a number of teachers and students, any teacher can sign up to bring their students for project-based learning. So within that space, we'll have additional technology equipment. This will include Google Expedition so that students can access some virtual reality experiences. This will also include iPads and a touch of robotics. There will be some general lab equipment that's included that will support project-based learning. This will include vernier probeware, general glassware, scientific calculators, some digital microscopes, so just some general lab equipment that would not be subject-specific. And then there will be some equipment that is more subject-specific, that's specialized either in environmental studies, sustainability, which is connected back to the greenhouse and that work, or with technology, engineering, and design, the TED courses. So we are really excited about the opportunity that this lab will provide for all teachers and students. Now, with these learning spaces and resources, as we get these set up, the other key component is to provide the professional development for our teachers. So the first piece of that is to provide project-based learning training for specifically our STEM and CTE teachers. Again, we want to continue building that bridge, and we want to support the integration of those subjects. And the second piece would be training for all teachers at Davie High School in cooperative learning strategies. We hope that that training will both improve student engagement as well as help with classroom management, communication, and soft skills.
So what are our goals, and what is the impact that we're looking for as a result of this grant? Our goal is to increase the number of students who complete a career pathway, and that could be through the high school pathways that we offer or through the community college pathways. We should see an increase in the number of credentials that are being earned, specifically in the areas of agriculture, culinary, and health science, since they are our target programs in this area, in this grant. And we should also see an increase in the number of students that will be completing job shadowing, internships, and a pre-apprenticeship program. Also, we'd like to see the number of students that are going to participate in Career and College Promise increase as well. Another area that we would like to show some increase in, we would like to see an improvement in our EOC proficiency rates as students become more engaged in learning. We'd like to see growth in our EVOS scores and also an increase in our graduation rate as we engage students in some more meaningful learning experiences. Our timeline and next steps: in July, a project management plan was completed, a budget analysis plan, and an implementation plan, and these have been submitted to Golden Leaf and have been approved by Golden Leaf. Our greenhouse has been ordered. It is scheduled to arrive within 4 to 6 weeks once the foundation is complete. The culinary equipment has been ordered, and that is scheduled to arrive the last week of August. In September and ongoing from now, we will be meeting with counselors at Davie High School and school administrators to review those career clusters and pathways that are available to our students. We will work on a plan for implementing and the professional development that Ms. Haynes has outlined for you. We will reconvene this team that has the school committee that designed and helped design the innovation lab, and we will finalize that list of equipment and start ordering that equipment. And once the greenhouse is in place and we've had a chance to get our workbenches and all in place, then we will design an aquaponics program that will complement what is in the greenhouse. And as of this afternoon, we did the request for the first disbursement of funds from Golden Leaf. So Ms. Miller signed off, and we have requested the first 20% of those Golden Leaf funds, which we should see very shortly.
All right, so just as we wrap up, I want to say special thanks to everyone who's been involved in this process, from the folks at Davie High School. Butch Rooney has been involved. John Marshall's been involved. Donna's really taking the lead at this point this summer and getting all the CTE stuff going, and she's going to be serving as our project director. And of course, huge thanks to Golden Leaf for the opportunity. We're really excited about this, just adding another level at that new facility at Davie High School. So questions from you guys?
I got a couple.
Yes, sir.
The first, let me say, that is phenomenal. I'm sitting here and I've listened to you and I've anticipated some questions from me, and you went through your whole event and you answered just about all those questions. So good for you as far as the lesson plan. But with regard to shadowing, has there been any thought and coordination based on the health science part of this whole piece? And is there a relationship, or in the midst of building a relationship with the new Davie Hospital to get some of our students out there? Because I think after exposure to, and I'll call it a recessive ante, but obviously it's geared for heart attacks and any and everything else, which is a great opportunity. But to let them see that and be a part of that in an institution like the hospital, for those health people that are headed in that direction for a career, I think that would be phenomenal. So what do you think?
We do have students shadowing at and participating in internships at Baptist Hospital, at the Davie Medical Center. Through our health sciences program and advanced studies, students go out, they spend a lot of volunteer hours, they collaborate with, and then do some research on their own for different careers. So we are actively using Matt Britt and Landon Lynch as our resources there, and we do have students that are there on a regular basis.
Thank you. Then my last question would be, and I know you've got things on order and so forth, but what, if I ask you for a date, approximate time, as to when all of this would be in place and operational, all of these different events, including the nursery and so forth, what would you say?
Well, again, our greenhouse, we hope to have, it will definitely be functional for second semester when we have our horticulture 2 classes.
Okay.
Our community looks to our greenhouse for some very good, healthy plants for their gardens and landscaping. So definitely we will have that greenhouse fully operational by second semester. It will be a learning experience for the students this fall as they watch the greenhouse go up. And again, I anticipate, after I talk to the contractor this week, I anticipate that we'll have that greenhouse in place by late November.
And the equipment that's going to go into those respective separate classrooms that are dedicated to that, timeline on that maybe?
That equipment should be, for culinary, it should be in place and delivered by the end of August. Patient simulator, I'm waiting until our teachers come back, and once they come back, then I'll meet with our 2 health science teachers, and we'll decide exactly what we want in that piece, and I'll get that ordered. And again, once we get the teachers from the science department and CTE that are going to be involved in designing the innovation space, we get those teachers together, we finalize, and hopefully we'd like to see most of this in place by second
By
semester.
January.
Second
We
semester.
already have a list and cost analysis and that sort of thing from the spring, but we do want to pull that group back together once
Right.
more at the beginning of the school year and
Yep.
make sure that that list is really what it needs to be before we start placing orders for that STEM Innovation Lab, and get that in place, and then begin the professional development that goes along with that.
Well, one, I think this is phenomenal that the first time in the history of Davie County we received that grant. That says volumes. And then the second thing is, I think you have done an exceptional job in pulling this all together and putting out, or in the midst of being out there, things that will really help the learning of students at Davie County, or Davie High School. So that's phenomenal. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd just like to say to you 2 ladies and to everybody that was involved in developing that grant, I know there was tons of time poured into that, and
And continues, and
I
continues
know,
to be.
and from the beginning, from way back in the beginning, and up until now, and continues, and I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys working so hard to bring Golden Leaf into this community and to give students opportunities, more technical related opportunities in these CTE and STEM programs. I appreciate that, I do. We have any other?
Try to keep this as concise as possible, but number one, thank you very much for the time and the effort that has already gone into and will continue to get this pulled together. And here's a question, Mr. Boy Scout, what is your name, please? Say it again.
Larson.
Larson, do you know what a $20 bill is? Do you know what a $100 bill is? Do they make thousands? $1,000 bill? How much does a car cost? Roughly. A lot. When you have been here tonight, and you did a great job to start us out. Thank you very much. And my point of all this is, all these board meetings that we have, I know you're wondering, where am I going with this? Every board meeting, we talk about hundreds of thousands of dollars, or the bond that happened many months ago now, millions of dollars. Part of my question will go back to the donation report, remind me, Chad. But where I'm at on this thing, $200,000 has been given to our school system outside of anything from the regular funds, state, federal, and local, and donations, because a group of people saw a need and saw an opportunity where, with a little bit of work, a little bit of effort, we might pull off something amazing. And you attacked it from the beginning, and you were smart to research and talk with the right people on how it would fit in and where it would fit in and to what the end result will be. And each of us remembers several months ago, we had a recognition night where this was a packed room, and all the award winners came through for CTE courses and contests, et cetera, and local event contests, and then regional, and then state, and then national. The result of all your work and all this effort and all these huge numbers is people. It's our sons and daughters and cousins and nephews and Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. I'm just real excited to be a little teeny piece of all this stuff that's going on. Incredible staff that you don't have to look very far in the business world to see organizations that don't work together. But I'm honored to be on the board of a group of people that work, and the end result, the end achievement for all this work and effort is your sons and daughters. That, to me, is just wonderful. So, number one, big thank you. And now I'll go to the donation report. Each month, the school board members get in their packet an accumulation list of folks and/or organizations, businesses that have made donations to each of our schools for different reasons, for different purposes. It could be book bags, food in the summer. It could be a new calculator for a special classroom event, just all kinds of things. Deborah, do you in any way possible, can you read off a huge number of what the total donations accumulated to date was for last year? Do you have access to that number?
Yes. It's $1,042,000 plus.
Let's just round it off. $1 million. You reckon you could get you a car for that? That'd be a nice car. $1 million was given to Davie County Schools. That's over and above state and federal and local, and is that not amazing? Dr. Hartness, now this, I think I'll ask you, and you won't know the answer today, but if you would find out, is there a report and/or a thank you paragraph, an article, letter to the editor, not a letter to the editor, a legitimate thank you to all the donors throughout the year? Can you tell us what is done to recognize the givers?
Each month when we receive donations, the donor receives a letter from the respective school or department within Davie County Schools that has received the donation. So yes, the donations are acknowledged at the time they're received.
If somebody picks up the Winston-Salem Journal or the Moxville Davie Enterprise, is there an article or some sort of, I guess article is the right word, thanking those people in general at the end of the year for this $1 million plus? Do you know?
We have not, we don't do that because there are some donors who want to be anonymous. There are others who want to be public. So we handle that individually with individual donors. We haven't run an ad in the paper or done something like that in our local news media outlets.
The general public has access to the donation report on our website.
My point is that if somebody gave me $1 million, I would be seriously, I'm not asking, but I would be really seriously fired up about that. And I know individually, even Mr. Wallace, cool, calm, and collected guy over there, he gets excited when he learns of a donated for some special event. I wish there was a way for the general population to understand that significant amount of money that's donated, and then also some sort of story that would be told that had those people not made those donations, what kind of fix we would be in Davie County's public education. That was a long-winded thing. I appreciate your patience with me, and you did a good job with your answers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Paul. Yeah, we're certainly thankful for all of our business partners and everyone that contributes. And it said this many times here, it takes a village. There's no question about that. And Davie County is always good about stepping up and doing what it takes to make things happen. Do you have any other questions or comments for Ms. Haynes or Ms. McNeil associated with the Golden Leaf Award? Thank you so much.
We will be back with updates and pictures, I'm
We're-
sure, as we go along.
We're excited to hear. We are. Thank you. At this time, since we have amended the agenda and removed closed session, we are now at the point of adjourning. And I'll ask if anybody has any comments. Any board members have any comment? No problem. No problem at all. No problem at all. We're here. Oh, absolutely. There's no question about it. It's phenomenal. It is. It certainly is. Seeing none, I will like to thank everyone for coming. Thank the Boy Scouts for coming and sharing the pledge with us. And I'll ask for a motion to adjourn. We have a motion by Mr. Drexler. We have a second. We have a second by Mr. Hales. All in favor? Motion carries 5-0. We are adjourned. Thank you.